Hey, welcome back to Babe in Library. If this is your first time, I want to welcome you to the channel. If you are returning, thank you for sticking around and hopefully subscribing. If you haven't subscribed and just wanted to get a taste of what I have on my channel, please stick around and subscribe towards the end. I've been on BookTube since July, so this is my first opportunity to do a quarterly wrap-up. So today we're going to go ahead and cover third quarter, which would be July, August, and September. Before I get started, we're going to talk about some of my favorites, some books that surprised me, and then some books that were really disappointments. Not necessarily saying that they're bad. I was just disappointed. I will also talk about some stats. But before I jump into what you're really here for, let me just tell you about what my reading goal was. So I set a goal at least for 4 books a month. I wanted to do 1 NetGalley arc. I wanted to read a Kindle Unlimited to make sure I'm utilizing my subscription. My third book had to be a nonfiction, and I wanted to read something off my bookshelf. Right now, I just updated my bookshelf, and I have 52% unread books. So I need to knock that down. I probably need to bump it up to 2 books on my bookshelf a month, but we know I am a mood reader, so I think 4 must reads is pretty good. So without further ado, I'll talk about some of my stats. So in July, I read 7 books. So I had 1 nonfiction and 6 fiction books. That totaled up to 29% I read in audio, 43% was print, and 29% digital. In August, I read 8 books. So that was 1 nonfiction, 7 fictions, which was 38% digital, 38% print, and 12% mixed media, and 12% audio. One of the things that I find helpful to knock down some of my physical shelf TBR is to mix media it, so listen to it and reading, and that gives you a total different perspective. So if you haven't tried it, this is your nudge and your encouragement to try it, and I promise you it's going to change your reading experience. September, I read 8 books in total, all fiction. I started a book that was nonfiction, but I didn't finish it until October this month. So you'll see at least 2 nonfictions on my wrap-up for 4th quarter for the month of October. In September, I read 50% audio and doing a lot of traveling. And with that comes a lot of audio reads. I tried to do a lot of novellas that had to do with flights and whatnot. So I did 50% audio, 37% digital, and 12% print. Now, as far as I'll start with surprises, right? So we'll start with surprises. We'll work our way to our disappointments, and then we'll end it on a high note with our favorites. So surprises. One of my surprises was actually Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. This is the second in the Bellinger Sisters series, and the reason why this was a surprising read for me, not because I don't love Tessa Bailey, but more so because everyone was very disappointed with this read. They loved It Happened One Summer. Everyone loves It Happened One Summer, and they were disappointed when they was able to read Hannah's and Fox read, and I'm going to tell you, I actually loved this more. While it wasn't as spicy as It Happened One Summer, main character, male character who is the ladies' man, right? And everyone always sees him as a man whore, but no one really takes a greater look, and he has mommy issues, and rooted by his mother, and projecting her relationship with his father on him because his father was a man whore. So that's something that took this to a whole nother level. You have Hannah, who is still trying to find her way in her career, and trying to understand how she is grappling with the loss of her father, who she never knew, right? So I absolutely love this. Like I said, I think I might have loved it a little bit more Then it happened one summer, but that was surprising because everyone else in the booktube community likes the other one better. My second surprise is Only When It's Us by Chloe Leese. If you watch my last video, which I'll put it down here, you would know I honestly skipped. I was contemplating skipping Only When It's Us because I just wanted to get to the second book, Always Only You, right? That's the one everyone talked about. It was highly recommended. It's something that I was like, okay, well, I could just jump into the series. I was surprised by how much I love Only When It's Us. I don't want to spoil it and tell you what it's ranked out of the 5 that I read, but just know, if it is on this third quarter list, it truly did surprise me and took me by storm. It was one of the books that really catapulted Chloe Leese for me, and I couldn't be more grateful for my intuition telling me you need to read that first book. Now I'll go into my disappointments. Again, I want to preface this by saying, because it is a disappointment, that does not mean that I totally dislike the book. It just means that maybe when I was picking up this book, I thought it was going to be a 5-star, and it was really a 3 or a 4-star. Or maybe it was extremely hyped up for me, so I knew I was going to love it, and it just was mediocre, right? So, again, not to spoil that Bergman Brothers blog, because again, this was a good book, but it was a little bit disappointment for me because this is everyone else's favorite. And so that's going to be Always Only You by Chloe Leese. I just knew when I purchased this that I was going to love it. You could not tell me that there was someone that was going to love this more than me. But out of the entire series so far, it's probably the weakest. I absolutely love Ren. I like Frankie. I just didn't get what I wanted out of their relationship. I was hoping for something that like cemented them and blossomed in my heart. So unfortunately, this was probably one of my most disappointing reads. Again, not a bad book. I still rated this pretty well. It just didn't live up to the hype for me. Now, this next disappointing read cuts me to my core, because this is one I truly knew I was going to give 5 stars. And I mean, I've loved the premise of this was perfect. The backlist of this author I absolutely love and adore, and that is Miss Denise Williams. Do You Take This Man? Look at this cover. It's gorgeous. Again, they don't have faces, and I love that because I can picture whoever that I want to. But RJ looks like a powerhouse, baby. She is a brick house in this beautiful red. She is a badass attorney. She's got Lear here looking all suave and debonair, and I absolutely adore them individually. I just didn't get what I needed to out of their relationship. And if you can see, that's a trend, right? I'm not saying that RJ and Lear, nor am I saying Frankie and Ren aren't great couples. I'm not saying that I didn't feel the chemistry. It didn't sell me as much as I wanted to. I was like, okay, that's cute. I like them as a couple, but I need to know when I walk away from them that they are forever. And they gave me the giggles of a schoolgirl crush. So unfortunately, I liked both of them individually. I just didn't have a strong enough connection to them in a relationship to where I wanted. But some of the things that I did love about this book, everything that Denise did to turn things on their head, right? You will see that with the third act breakup, one of the characters has to come back and do the groveling. And you wouldn't suspect that, because traditionally in, romance books, it's not your female main character that's coming back to apologize. If you are interested in Denise Williams' backlist, I would tell you, make sure that you read this one first, because you will see that this character is one of the best friends of a character here. So this, absolutely 5 stars. Love The Fastest Way to Fall. it kind of ties in to Do You Take This Man? And again, I love Denise Williams, so by no means do I mean that I don't like this. It just wasn't the 5-star read that I received from this book. All right, my last disappointing read really kills me to say. I received an ARC of this, and I've spoken with the author. So that's probably where my concern is, because I didn't get a finished copy and I didn't get the epilogue. But even still, American Royalty by Tracy Livesay, I had extremely high hopes of this. And by, to some extent, it's partly my own fault. It's actually the marketing's fault. They marketed as Meghan Markle and Harry, and it's not Meghan and Harry, right? It's Meghan and Harry-esque in terms of there is a royal and there is a Black American woman that he falls in love with, but it's not their story, right? And that's not truly my issue, because I don't think that anyone is ever going to be able to write Harry and Meghan, because we really truly don't know their relationship. The problem is ending. Like, when it wrapped up, to me, I had absolutely no clue that it was going to be a continuing story. Like, they were going to get a second book. And so when I finished it, I was pissed. I was livid. And I feel like certain parts were rushed, and I did not truly get the romance. Again, when I am reading for a couple, I may not need their happily ever after. We do. Like, I don't have to see that they are soulmates. I have to know that I believe in their romance, and I believe that they will make it past 6 months, right? And I just didn't feel that. I maybe felt it, and maybe, again, I think I'm harsh on female main characters. That is a me problem that I probably need to figure out. But I felt more from our male character than I did our female character, right? And I think that was my issue, is that, he took her out on dates, and he was really showing that, he loved her and he cared. But I didn't get that back from, I felt Jameson give it his all, right? Like, I felt that he really came out of his shell, that he was trying, and he was taking her on dates and really paying attention to her. But I did not feel Duchess or Danielle make any advancements towards making their relationship work. And so that was a real disappointment for me. Now, without further ado, we'll get to my favorites. So I've got 4 favorites I want to talk to you all about. First one is Praise. Y'all have probably heard me rant about this if you watch the Dating Your Dad or Dating Your Ex's Dad vlog. Emerson. Yeah, I'm in my season for older gentlemen, and it's clear and apparent to me because of Daddy Emerson. This is also putting me in, this is what catapulted me in truly reading Dating Your Dad's Ex, or Dating Your Ex's Dad. I'm reading another book right now for one of my witchy blogs, and I'm getting real Emerson vibes, right? And I'm loving it. So more to come. That probably will be my next video. But Praise really opened my eyes to, knowing some additional kinks. Like, I had absolutely no clue that praise kink was a thing. And I just knew that everyone loved being called a good girl. So from that, I wound up buying the entire series just because I know that these editions are going out of print. So I just gave Sarah Kate all my money, and I'm committed. My next favorite read is going to be Nightcrawling. Whew. Oprah and her book club, they shattered me. This was fantastic, right? This is really what it looks like to see the dark underbelly of America, and it takes you through a lot of turmoil that people face in their everyday lives, right? You get to see what it's like to be without parents, and the system not working for you, and you have to take care of yourself. You get to see into being a sex worker. You it's fantastic. There's so much that I really want to say, but I don't want to spoil the book. Next favorite read is Don't You Dare by C.E. Ritchie. This is probably one of the books that cemented like Friends to Lover for me. I've been dibbling and dabbling into Friends to Lovers a little bit this year, but C.E. Ritchie, Best Friends 2, it's a male-male romance, kind of sports thing. It is beautiful. I wish there was a little bit more groveling towards the end, but this is truly something that was like made for me, right? Best Friends to Lovers, you've got a dare mentality in terms of how they become intimate with one another. It's based off dares. Absolutely love Don't You Dare. And lastly, one of my favorite books was Blood Scion. Very similar to Nightcrawler in terms of it is, hard to read but impactful. Blood Scion talks about organization and the impacts and effects on that. It is a fiction book, but so much of it is rooted in what really happened. It talks about Orisha gods, which I love to see more about. We typically hear a lot about Greek gods or gods, but no one talks about the, African Orisha gods. And I think it's something that we see more education exposure on it. So those are some of my favorites, my disappointments, and my surprising reads. If you happen to have any thoughts about any of the books that I talked about today, please place them in the chat. I'm going to ask that you leave a cake emoji for Do You Take This Man? And I'll talk to you all next time. Bye.